That's a mess. I haven't written about it, but I haven't called it.
That's why we get here.
So I am recording. Okay.
I'd like to call this regularly scheduled meeting of the Ely City Council to order. If we could please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome everyone to our last regular meeting of the council for 2024. With that, Casey, could you please call the roll?
Councilmember Alforsen, Paul Kess,
Here.
Joe Goodell,
Here.
Ryan Callen,
Here.
Angela Campbell, here, Advertise,
Here.
and Mayor Armstrong.
I am here. We need to have a quorum so we can go ahead and conduct business. With that, I need an approval from the December 3rd, 2024 public hearing, ordinances 381 and 383. December 3rd, 2024 public hearing, ordinance 378. December 3rd, 2024 regular council meeting, and December 3rd, 2024 truth in taxation public hearing. Oh, what a night that was. Moved by Jerome, supported by Angela. Any changes to the agenda, or any changes to the minutes? Any changes, corrections? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Action passed. Minutes pass. I have 4 additions to the agenda. Any other additions before I ask for a motion? Any other additions? Any omissions to the agenda? All right. Can I get a motion for these 4? Moved by Ryan, supported by Jerome. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. We have an agenda for our meeting. To start out with, Harold and I had the pleasure of going to the Ely Arts and Heritage Center meeting. It was a fun time, actually. A lot of great communication. We got to hear about some of their plans for the coming year, and you can see on there, on one of our editions, one of their plans coming up. They're a fun, lively group who are very dedicated to mining and the history of mining in Ely. I'm always impressed with Harold and how they are talking with him, and like that he can talk about numbers and money and a really good path forward. So I'm glad we were invited, and thanks to them for inviting us. Anything you wanted to add, Harold?
I'd just like to add that every year they're getting more and more visitors who are contributing towards the maintenance and operation of the facility. So they are putting together a capital improvement plan for the property. As you know, the city owns it. We have a sublease agreement with them to kind of manage it for the city. We talked a lot about the weddings and the other events that have happened there in probably the last 10 years that those that have been involved for 25 plus years, you know, it's probably a vision way back then, and now that's what the place is being used for. So the work they'll be doing in the next couple of months or towards spring is prioritizing their needs. So as we move forward and look for funding, we can get those projects done. The big project on the docket to get completed next summer is a miners memorial. That project's been under planning and fundraising for a very long time. So that is their plan, to get that completed. And they'll be having a mining day like they did during the all-class reunion last summer. That was real successful for them. So that looks to be something they'll be doing on an annual basis. And as you've seen in your packet, they're doing a meat raffle coming up here in February, fundraising for the continued efforts at the site. So there will be some tax dollars coming in through that tax bill that was written. Pioneer Mine got $50,000 directly for that. So there is grant funds coming in. The IRRB has funded a portion of that memorial, as well as the council. So yeah, good things are happening there. And if you're ever bored, looking for an interesting tour, Seraphine or the rest of the crew are willing and able.
Could you give us a quick status report of the Captain's Drive? I know that they have an interest in that.
Sure. The Captain's Drive, which is the larger of all the buildings down there, at least in height. It's kind of went vacant for decades now, probably 30 years or more. The city at one time used it for some storage, contractor used it, a logger had used it. There was even a trailer house down there years ago where somebody lived on that property. So over the last few years, they have raised money, they put a new roof on it, they fixed the gutters, they went through and where all the windows were boarded up, they infilled the divided light windows like we have in the council chambers here with plexiglass, knowing that's not the permanent solution, but it's keeping pigeons out. So they've done a lot of work, a lot of labor, a lot of sweat equity has been put into it by that group to hopefully stabilize it for future funding to come. They do have a large collection of artifacts that they're hoping to at some time put on display. So that is part of this $50,000 that came through the legislature, was to make some of those improvements. So little steps at a time, and that's where our discussion was. A lot of the things that have happened took time. It didn't happen in a year or 2 years, and I can tell you what, that group is very proud of the Pioneer Mine site and what they're doing there. So the mayor and I were just there to offer our support and continue to work with them. So.
If only my children were around there.
Yeah.
I was kind of thinking the same thing as I was sitting there, actually. Yesterday was also the Joint Powers Legislative Luncheon, and it's all of our legislators were there, as far as our senator and our representative. Senator Grant Houschild was there, Representative Roger Straub was there, our county commissioners was there, and then everyone else sent their staffers were there. Good information, great conversations. I know that Paul was there, as was Angela. I came right on time because I was teaching. Do either one of you, and Harold was there also. Harold gave a really good, concise sheet to all the people there, talking about our needs. Do either one of you want to comment about yesterday?
I comment. I wanted to appreciate Harold's work in putting together our priorities. You have in your packet, and you've seen before, the Rams priorities, but the ones that are unique to you are the ones that those legislators need to see, and they did. So thank you, Harold. It was well done, concise, covered all the bases.
Angela, anything you wanted to add?
I can agree with Paul, and I was very impressed with our representatives from St. Paul and how they are on top of our issues and very concerned, and took time, I think, to speak to us individually or collectively because we are still in need of housing. And I thought those conversations merited good efforts, as well as the Rams board and Director Paul from Rams giving an overview of the support Rams is to the city of Ely.
I think it's also very telling that we really didn't need to explain a lot to our representatives. They are well aware of what our issues are. So the communications really is there with us and Roger and Rams especially, which is really nice. They're asking not mile, it's not the mile look down, not the 10,000 point, it's the nitty gritty. Well, what about this? Did you find out about this? Also, Commissioner Reppeliner was there, which was also very helpful.
I'd like to also that both representatives work across the aisle. And that's important to recognize, because that's how work gets done.
Harold, did you have something you wanted to add?
Yeah, I just wanted to touch on that both Grant and Roger, it's very obvious, been working together very closely, even though they're not in the same party. And this year, that's going to be even more important, as it's going to be pretty much split pretty evenly. So if those two are together on something, it's likely to pass. So our needs, workforce housing, is interesting to know. We shared a little bit of our story, and Senator was a bit upset because he was the one that drafted that bill for the $39 million. So I think there's some opportunity coming in the next legislative session. Of course, it's more of a budget year, tax bill, less of a bonding bill here, but within the existing systems and departments, I think we'll see some opportunities. So yeah, it was good.
Also,
Go ahead.
John Field gave a great presentation and leading the city forward and giving our legislators, we're positive in Ely, and we are going to be a better city.
Go ahead, Paul.
And I think it was well reinforced, and the public should know. In the last round of the $35 million, most of it went to a 60-mile radius of the twin cities. So even though it was designed and written for greater Minnesota, their definition of greater Minnesota is not that great. Next step, this time coming up, Roger's on the Capital Investment Committee in the House with the Tiger House. We should be hopeful.
And last, and probably something I'd like to avoid because I'm not good at things like this, tonight, at least for the time being, our council members last meeting. Ryan, Councilmember Ryan, he has been on the council for 8 years, and although quiet, when Ryan has something to say, it's very important to listen, because we all know that it's powerful, it's meaning. He also serves on the fire department and has definitely moved up in the ranks there. We appreciate everything you have done. We appreciate your quiet leadership. I know I knew quite a bit for things. And I will definitely miss you and your wisdom and your, you forgot this, what about this, or your, there's a reason why you sit there.
Thank you, Mayor.
At that, it's always that. It's very rarely type. You will be missed. Don't be a stranger. We definitely will be inviting you to participate in things. If you'd like to say a few words, we would definitely appreciate it.
No, it's been an honor and privilege serving this community for the last 8 years. I need to take a break, and maybe in the future I'll run again, but for right now I got other things I need to focus on, so thank you.
Thank you. We'll do a photo op. Is
Now
that
or
okay?
after the meeting?
We can do it after the meeting.
Mayor.
All right. And then, wow. The person that always says the right thing at the right time, the stuff that I forget to say that I should say, what are we going to do without Paul Kess? Don't be a stranger.
The world will keep answering.
I don't know. There's probably no one tougher in budget committee, I will be honest, but always has a gentle grace about him. And always has that perfect line to say that I always forget to say, brings up the right questions to ask, or can end things very gracefully. We are going to miss you
Thank you.
after 22 years. You need to go back. Yeah, just not. He needs, and he always forgets to turn on his mic. I'm good at that.
Thank you, Mayor, Council, thank you. Those of you who know me, that's unexpected. And I've served several terms on the council, back in the 90s, then the break, and then now again. A total of 22 years. I haven't regretted any of it. And I think that, although I'm looking forward to the relief from the, I'm beating myself with a stick. And when you come off a job like this one where you have lots of things to consider, and you suddenly you have some freedom again, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. Now, those of you who know me know that I've been in service to the public for my entire career. One way or another, I've been involved with stuff, with the city of Ely. And I don't think I'm just going to magically disappear right now, but I look forward to the change and I appreciate all the support that people have given me. Thank you.
Paul, I'd like to thank you for your service, but best of all, I'd like to thank you for coming alongside me as a new council member, working with you for 6 years as an alternate to Rams. I could always pick up the phone, I could always stop you in the council chambers and ask you, I need help. I don't understand this issue, and you've taken time, and I'm so thankful to have been able to campaign for you during your campaign for St. Louis County Commission. I will miss you, but I have your phone number. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Paul, for all the hard work you have put in. We've known each other since we were kids. We played sports together in high school and everything, and you've always been a good friend, and you've always done real well with yourself, and you've done real well with the city, and the city of Ely should be very proud of you, and I'm sure proud of you, and for being a friend and for being on the council, and I hope everything works out for you in the future.
Thank you, Joe. Keep up doing the good work.
Move on.
Move on.
Moving on. All right, moving on to consent agenda. I need, do we want to do both or individually? All right, I need a motion to waive the readings of their entirety, and then also we have the newly elected councils to attend the Elected Leaders Institute, for those of you who are newly elected out in the audience, and then also for those of us who've been around the block more than once, the Elected Leaders Institute Advanced Program. Those are coming up. There's a few dates for them, so contact Casey Lucas. I need a motion for both of them. Moved by Ryan, supported by Paul. Any discussion? Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. We have no request to appear. I will move on to our committee reports. PUC. These are alternate. That's okay. Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome. All right, first one, recommendation from EUC to purchase a high-lift VFD for the water treatment plant from Revolt Electrical Services for $18,750.
Is there support for that? Support by Jerome. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Recommendation from EUC to purchase a breaker panel for the water treatment plant from Revolt Electrical Services for $36,100 plus shipping.
Is there support? Support. Discussion? Support. Go ahead, Harold.
Just to add some clarity on this, water treatment plant, the electrical equipment in that plant was installed in 1990. Over time, breakers start to get weak. Some of these breakers have been replaced. We had a price given to replace the entire MCC panel. which is 1200 amp service with, I think there's 8 or 10 separate buckets, motor starters, main switch gear for all of the functions of the water plant. And when it's a sum of its parts, they're probably $10,000 a breaker, but when you buy the whole panel together, you know, there is some cost savings there. So right now, we're just looking at getting the equipment, and then later we'll have to hire a contractor to do the installation because we'll have to remove all the old equipment and install this at the same time. The VFD, we've got 2 VFDs for our 2 high lift pumps that supply water to the city. One of them was replaced about a year ago, and these seem to be on a schedule of failure right around the same time as they've been replaced. So, and as you can see, they're not cheap, the variable frequency drives. This is what starts the motors, ramps them up, ramps them down. I believe this is a 125 horse motor that this runs. So these are items that we are planning to get them, have them on site, and then schedule the replacement. So it's, right now there's a lot of lead time issues within the electrical supply chain. So that's why it's important for us to get these approved now and then get them coming. They probably won't be here till the spring.
Any other questions or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Recommendation from EUC to move forward with a $14,191 aqua power bid for the aerator clean out at the wastewater treatment plant in the spring of 2025.
Is there support? Support by Jerome. Any discussion?
Well, just elaborate on this a little bit. This area, so
Certainly.
it's going to do wastewater, right?
This was part of the project done in 2000, so it's our biological phosphorus removal. It's the aeration basin. It has gotten some buildup in the bottom with grit and what you can imagine would happen over 25 years. So we need to take it down, and then they come in with a vac truck, vac it out, and then we process that material. So it's a matter of cleaning these basins out. Be the first time in 25 years on it. So.
This wasn't done as part of the renovation of wastewater?
Nope, this is a totally separate part of the process.
Okay.
Part of the plant one of the only parts that wasn't touched, so.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Recommendation from EUC to approve the $72,549 transformer quote from TNR Electric.
Is there support? Angela? Any discussion? Go ahead, Jerome.
Just to touch on this is our inventory for transformers. So all the pole mount transformers you see around town, the pad mount transformers, every few years we need to replenish our inventory. And as I just stated, for the electrical equipment at the water plant, transformers are even harder to get. If you look to the southeast, all the hurricanes and everything that went on down there have pretty much decimated the inventory at all of the vendors. So again, we ordered them. I think it's a 16-week lead time on these transformers. Used to be you called, they brought a truck up within a couple of weeks. So we really have to plan ahead on them. And as everything, they went up in price. And you really have to find who's got them available and jump on it when you can. So.
Go ahead.
As we approve, these are fairly significant invoices for this equipment that we needed, got to have it.
Yep.
Do you expect that this will have an effect on the rates?
No, this is inventory for the maintenance of our infrastructure with the electric utility.
So it's in the budgets?
Yes. The thing that affects our rates the most is going to be our future debt service for the water treatment and the water supply line improvements. And of course our wholesale power agreement with Minnesota Power. So there will be some slight adjustments that are recommended here coming in the new year, but nothing significant. These transformers, for instance, the last time we ordered transformers, I think was 2019. So.
I know there's lots of layers of this question, but Do we get any of our power from Minnesota Power? Is it from Ontario?
Certainly, Ontario, Manitoba Hydro is part of the supply chain to Minnesota Power and onto the MISO network. So a lot of our power, as you know, Minnesota Power is also going to be working towards carbon-free by 2040. They actually set a loftier goal of a certain percentage, I believe, by 2025, which they exceeded already. I believe they're over 40% renewable carbon-free. A lot of that power is coming from DC power coming off the Bison Wind projects out in North Dakota. The other big parts is they've developed some rather large solar arrays within the state of Minnesota. So our power can come from multiple sources. When you see our Minnesota Power bill, there's a MISO network fee on there, and that's the maintenance and operation of that entire network to bring all of that power onto the transmission system and then get it to us. So, yep.
Thank you.
Anything else? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Recommendation from EUC to move forward with approving the solar application for 9 East Chapman Street pending engineer review approval.
Is there support? Support by Jerome. Any discussion? Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to touch on this. We do have a customer who is putting in a solar system and also is looking at battery storage at the same time. So that would be the first system within our grid with the potential of providing power on their system as well as selling it back to us with battery storage. So I'm believing in the future you'll see more of these battery storage systems as the battery technology improves. So that'll be a project probably done next summer. He doesn't want to do it in the winter, but just an interesting one that I think when it's done, we'll spotlight it a little bit as to here's what can be done.
Go ahead, Jerome.
Now, when a person does this and they sell back electricity to the city, does the customers get a break because of this?
We buy the power back at the same rate they're buying it from us. So it's a net meter, just goes both ways. So.
Any other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Recommendation from EUC to approve $14,690 payment to Thurs Power Pump for the biosolids press rental.
Is there support? Support by Jerome. Discussion. Any discussion? Go ahead,
I
Jerome.
just wanted to ask, what is a press rental?
That is what was used to press their biosolids to then haul a dry product to the landfill. Where we used to land apply a product that was about 4% solids, now we're landfilling a product that's more in the 20% solids. So it's reduced our trucking costs significantly, and this is being hauled to the landfill and then beneficially being reused as cover daily as the landfill is being covered. So.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Last one for EUC. Recommendation from EUC to approve $500 payment to Nick Schusta for October A operator services at the wastewater treatment and water treatment plant, wastewater treatment plant.
All right, is there support? Support by Adam. Haven't gotten him in yet. All right, any discussion? Any discussion? Go ahead.
Do we have to approve a contract again for him for next year, or is it just ongoing?
No, I believe his contract does go through next year. So.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Library Board, the meeting minutes are in your packet. Let me know if you have any questions or save them for Rachel. Go ahead. That's all right.
I was just going to request that a copy of that interview be provided for public access television.
Interview.
The WDIO stained glass windows.
I can ask them. I don't know if they will or if it will be a proprietary sort of thing.
on to projects.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Recommendation from Projects Committee to submit a nomination for the City of Ely ARDC for consideration for funding of Phase 1 and Phase 2 environmental review at the Old City Garage.
Is there support? Support by Angela. Discussion. Go ahead, Harold.
Just to give a little insight, the Old City Garage located at 50 West White Street, I believe it was built in the 60s, early 60s. As you're all aware, that is an area that is being considered for redevelopment. First work will be the fire hall, and that's in an area that hasn't seen any other activity on it. That's where the skating shack was at one time that we removed. But the other parts of the property where the Public Works Garage is located, I know all the tanks have been removed over the years, but we know we'll have to do environmental Phase 1 and Phase 2 at some point in the future. Right now, the ARDC has an EPA grant that's EPA funds for Phase 1s and Phase 2s. This is where we've discussed before, where the Iron Range Brownfields Coalition had received grants in the past. ARDC got one the last round in 2020, 2019, and they have remaining funds. So we didn't get it directly through our coalition, but we believe we may have an opportunity to do some projects, just those very basic environmental reviews. Phase 1 is typically a couple $1,000s, and Phase 2 is typically under $10,000. So it's a simple process. I'll apply. That coalition within the ARDC will have to review our application and see if our project has merit or not. So it's worth asking at this point. Might save some money home.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thanks for the explanation, Harold.
Recommendation from Projects Committee to proceed with ZEF Energy proposal for the DC charging hub at the trailhead.
Is there support? Support by Paul. Any discussion? Go ahead.
I should probably just give you a little information on this.
That sounds great.
We have worked on this project for quite some time. This would be our second round of working with ZEF Energy. First time was a few years back where the MPCA didn't have enough money in the program, and when they took applications and then awarded grants, it was supposed to be for half of the project cost. Well, it was more for like 25% of the project cost by the time all the bids came together. Since then, obviously, technology has changed. These charging hubs have changed considerably. This would be a DC level 3 fast charge station. I compare it to the station we currently have in the library parking lot. Is you plug your car in there, you'll get, 10 miles an hour of charge. That's just a 240 volt charging system. The DC fast charge system, it'd take 20 minutes to go from a dead battery to a fully charged battery in an EV. This system would have a fee, obviously, that comes through an application on your phone, and we would collect that revenue. ZEF Energy would be the developer. They would help to maintain the system. They would set the system up. They are the ones packaging the charging hub. There are MPCA dollars that are being applied for with the approval of the council. That application will be submitted. We are obligated at signing $5,000 for the preliminary design, and then at final design, it's an additional $50,500 that is owed to ZEF Energy. There still is a direct pay grant at the White House for these projects, and it's being processed through the IRS. There are other communities, Grand Portage, some others that have been successful in getting those dollars. You apply for those after the project's complete. So there's a bit of a, you're going a little bit on a wing and a prayer for the development. We have talked about a charging station at the trailhead for quite some time. In the design documents, we had two level 2 chargers, much like we have at the library, planned at the parking lot. Those we would not install, and we put that $12,000 towards this installation. The nice thing about our project is we're already building the parking lot. We're already putting in lighting. We're already putting in a transformer for the lighting at the parking lot and the trailhead. So that cost is a match in kind for the actual grant. So that was around $48,000, all of that put together. One of those transformers actually in that list was for this project. So it's about a $220,000 project all said and done. This is a 75 kW system, 4 charging ports, 2 I believe are DC, 2 will be the level 2. So there'll still be the opportunity for those that just want to plug in for a couple hours for a fee, but those that need to charge completely can use the DC fast charger. And we do know within the power sports industry, there's off-highway motorcycles that are electric, UTVs that are electric, ATVs that are electric. Snowmobiles, are starting to develop more and more, EV snowmobiles even, so there'd be that opportunity at the trailhead as well. I wish I could say 100% guaranteed we'll get the direct pay grant from the White House. This project being approved now would be in the works to be installed in May, so it's about as fast as we could make it happen, and that would be the potential cost to the city if the grant wasn't successful. I have not heard any naysayers say that the project isn't eligible, the funds aren't there. Everybody I've talked to is confident we can get those grant dollars for that portion, the $55,000 portion of this project. So,
Any questions for Harold? Go ahead, Paul. Go ahead, Paul. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know, it seems like a big risk to me because our budget's so tight. And if we didn't get the grant, any chance these money could come out of the trailhead project money?
That project, as you know, is about $3.2 million, and that budget is spoken for. We did receive some additional IRRB money on that project to try to infill, the work being done with the existing building, the parking lot, and all of that. There may be some additional opportunities coming up, maybe through the IRRB. This project also, we are bringing in some other NPCA dollars that was on a previous Minnesota Power project that came in under, so that money is going to be transferred into this project as well. But that's still included, even with this $55,000. So yeah, no, I didn't want to drop this right before Christmas, but of course, if we wait, the price goes up because it'll be in the 2025, their pricing.
Are state reps aware of this budget and grant?
Yes. They're within the agency, the IRRR, they're trying to support the development of the charging systems along the corridor. I think right now, when we had a presentation from Minnesota Power, Ely was one of had probably more EV cars than many, I think almost all the other communities within the territory. So we do have quite a bit of adoption, and I think what we're seeing in the summer is there has been a considerable increase in EVs. So, we will make the money back on the usage through the electric utility. So this would be a project through the electric utility. So it was at the Utility Commission last night. They approved it after quite a bit of discussion. There's some concerns there as well. I think we're all kind of hoping a bit on this, making sure we can get this grant in. It's investment in infrastructure. I had always hoped that maybe some of these level 3s would start to be developed by others. You can see why they can't be developed by others. They're expensive.
Where's the other closest charger like this?
Two Harbors. But those are Tesla chargers.
Right, got it.
But it is an equivalency. I mean, I can just speak from the Dairy Queen because we put in these, not this level of charge, but the chargers we did put in, they're used frequently. I think it's an ongoing, ever-growing segment of the market. If you have the grant opportunity and you can accomplish a project like this, I wouldn't be surprised with those ATVs and the snowmobiles to continue to see usage throughout or up in the next coming years. So I know that my brother put in the chargers at the Dairy Queen, and it was a pretty big investment, even that small. I think he paid close to 20 grand to put in those chargers down there. So just in terms of an economic opportunity for the area, I think for $50,000, if it can be paid for on a grant, and if the grant holds true, I think it would add a lot of value. It is very hard to come up to this area if you have to wait 5 hours to charge a vehicle, and that's how long you would wait at any one of the other chargers, even at the Dairy Queen right now. So then you would charge within, 20, 25 minutes. Well, that's a very positive thing for our area. So that's just my 2 cents on it, coming from somebody that has a vehicle and also has chargers.
And we've been reviewing this agreement. We want to continue to review it. So if the council does approve this, I would make a contingent on city attorney's approval or review. There are a couple things I've been thinking about adding in here, some contingencies as far as the responsibilities, whether it be Zeph Energy or ours. If things don't happen, I mean, can we do this in more of a gradual state on the payments, a couple of those things. So if you want to just approve it contingent upon our review and further refinement, we could bring it back in January. But right now, for them to hold the pricing, I need to give them a green light.
Go ahead, Joe.
In essence, would you say that to charge the vehicle up, is it a lot cheaper than if you filled a gas tank? I mean, how could that, work?
Not necessarily. At the same time, what we're looking at is some EV charging rates. We currently do not have them within our rate structure. We have residential rates, we have commercial rates, and then we have large commercial rates and van customer rates. So we have the ability, and we did do a rate study here last year, last spring into the summer, concerning EVs and how we would look at charging them. So that is a big part of this discussion as well. To have the infrastructure available, yeah, there is a premium that is paid for the use of the facility, and the customer pays. So,
Thank you.
I can see where this would be a big draw for people coming to you, and I think in the future we'll see more and more and more of these, even marketing it as a place that's EV friendly. But it's a gulp when you have to do it the first time.
The first round when we looked at this, all it was the MPCA grant. There wasn't the direct pay grant. There wasn't the additional money that the MPCA has put on the table for it. So I think they realized the first go around that most communities just weren't going to do it. I know like Two Harbors did it. Grand Rapids has installed the system. And of course Duluth has some charging stations, and they're kind of speckled along I-35 all the way down to the Twin Cities. But I think Ely being a destination, a lot of people, I mean, I've started to notice more and more, and often I wonder where they're going to charge that, and the time will tell. But we can continue to review this, but like I said, I needed to give them a green light before the end of the year if this was something we're serious about moving forward on, so.
I think as everyone pointed out and has been mentioned, it, depends on are we forward thinking? Do we want to continue to be that destination location that has a lot of things? We are at the end of the road, which is at an advantage, but a disadvantage. And I think this is a point we can pivot to, have an advantage and be the reason why people come here instead. It'll be a highlight. I mean, we want to make, we want to make the trailhead something important, and this is one way to make it even more important, just to community members, but also to people who come visit Ely. Go ahead.
And this question may be more directed at Kelly, being an EV driver. Considering the range of these vehicles, and I want to be answered, considering the range of these vehicles, what sort of obstacles lie between, say, if you were to drive up from the cities, could you make it to Ely on a full charge, or should we also be supporting efforts to install similar charging stations at areas leading here, be it Virginia?
Depending on your vehicle, most of the vehicles would not make it all the way up in one charge. Especially in the winter, because the EV batteries do not hold their charge as well. So the charging station between here and the cities would be either Black Bear Casino or you go to Two Harbors. When you get to Ely, say that you wanted to do a quick turn and return, well, you have to wait 4 or 5 hours to charge at any other place. If you went to the Dairy Queen or you went to the library, right? So these quick chargers, they are a huge part of the I think it is a big part of the economy moving forward because you can charge in 20 minutes. You do see more vehicles coming up. Tesla themselves, I think, are managing the infrastructure moving forward for the nation, is how I understand it. That they'll basically be doing the charging stations. Majority of the charging stations now are Tesla. So I guess it'll be interesting to see how it goes. Yes, there are, like Virginia, it would be nice to have a charging station there, but they don't have one yet. So I think it's just part of the infrastructure growing, but yeah, to have it as a destination and be able to charge in a short amount of time, I think is a positive.
What's the cost for a charge?
So a fast charge like Harold's putting in would be like $40. It's equivalent to gas, but it's a lot faster, obviously. If you went to a slower charge, like at the Dairy Queen, maybe it would be $15, but you're waiting for 5-6 hours. So the customer can choose what they'd like to pay, depending on their time.
Charging at the Dairy Queen?
Yeah, they are charged. I mean, I don't run that, my brother runs this little business. But yes, they are charged. You show up, you have a digital wallet, basically, you pay through. And it's the same thing that would be here.
Any other questions? Go ahead.
I just want to touch on, we have kind of taken a leadership role. One other example is when we installed the fiber in the downtown area. That was an investment made through the city's electric utility to install that fiber on the poles, make those upgrades to the poles to offer that. And then the businesses connected onto it, and the investment is being returned through lease payments from CTC on the poles. Again, it's going to take a long time to pay that back, but it was infrastructure that was necessary that wasn't being provided by others that we invested in. And then later on, as we know, Mid-Continent came in and they put their system throughout the city and provided that. We're still getting revenue off that. I could see this being the same, and I think as EV ownership continues to grow, I don't know how quickly that's going to occur. Many speculate that it slowed down, it's going to increase. Hard to say, but it's just one of those pieces of infrastructure that's kind of critical to moving forward, I guess.
It's nice to see that Ely's thinking about being on the cutting edge and being out in front. All right, are we ready to vote? Do I have a motion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Custom Theaters for the surveillance, security, and access control for the trailhead facility.
Support by Jerome. Any discussion? Go ahead.
Well, the total to here is 33,000 something. I have no problem with it, and you have to do this at the trailhead. But I'd feel better if we had some quotes for this. It's already at 33 grand, and it seems like when we hit that level of expenditure, we should be at least getting something to compare to.
When we bid this project out, we held this portion out of that general contractor bid, knowing that it would typically be contractor added general construction percentage on top of it. And right now, we're currently utilizing these same systems within the VA clinic, the park and rec facility, and then City Hall. So we're trying to keep some similar or same system, the monitoring system, and then of course the troubleshooting and the maintenance is right here in Ely. Local vendor provides that service for us. Whereas on other projects we did do that, we included it in, and then we ended up taking it out and hiring it locally because we have a vendor coming out of Minneapolis providing this. It doesn't work for us when it comes to service. And
I'm all for it. It's great work, but you get to this level of expenditure, and you think due diligence requires that you get something else to do.
So, I just want to make sure that I understood you correctly. So this would just be compatible with existing systems as far as maintenance and equipment?
yes, and the monitoring would be the same as we've got with our other city facilities, so, yes.
Go ahead, Jerome.
It seems to me this would be a great idea because when you're looking at the fact that there might not be somebody there at all times to take care of the facility, you want to make sure you can find out if somebody's monkeying with it.
We most definitely need surveillance. We most definitely need access control. That's what we'll run the timers on the doors and then provide access for those utilizing the space, the office space included. The surveillance will be directly connected to the PD. And of course, they'll have access to the door lock system as well. Because it is going to be, it's going to be a nice facility. We did the same exact system at the rec facility for the same reasons. Nobody's there. We know who forgets to lock the door and leaves the window open or breaks a picnic table or, those sorts of things through that system. So yes, it's expensive, but I think one bad actor could destroy in very short order what we've tried to develop over all this time. So I could try to search out another provider, maybe Archkey or somebody out of Duluth. I just know in the past this has been a high value. We usually get a lot of bang for our buck through the systems that Ely Custom Theaters has installed for us.
I'm not arguing any of this, how valuable it is and all that stuff like that. That's not what I'm arguing. I'm arguing just for the sake of financial due diligence that we get another quote. I'll vote against it unless we do that. Not because I'm against the proposal, but because of the process.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Great.
So the motion is carried.
Would you like to do voice vote?
No.
Roll call, sorry.
No.
We did. All right, meeting budgets. Moving on to HPC.
Recommendation from HPC to reserve the $1,500 received in donations in 2024 for use in 2025 for the working paintings. Recommendation.
Support by Ryan. Discussion? Any discussion?
Minnesota Digital Library to add an online digital access for oral history projects, including the recently completed graduates oral histories video. That's a recommendation.
Is there support? Support by Jerome. Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? HRA.
The minutes are in the packet.
Park and Rec. It's red.
Yes. Park and Recreation Board. Recommendation from Park and Recreation to have the Park and Rec Board be part of the process for the trailhead grand opening. So that's a request for assistance in development and execution as it aligns with TNR interests.
Is there support? Discussion. I'm not sure how formally we ever are with but grand openings. Which would
help or great.
Yeah, I was gonna say. We told Harold that we put you in charge of it. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Are there any other committee meeting reports that we need, any other committees? All right, moving on. Harold. Clerk treasurer. Scoring.
Okay. We've had a open position for quite some time.
Yeah.
Going on a year and a half probably. As we filled other positions, we still have a public works position that's open. We did budget for it, of course. And we did take applications. We haven't looked at them yet. Casey and Katie will redact all the information on them for scoring. But as has been in the past, we're looking to put together an interview and scoring committee. Typically for Public Works, how it will be is it's myself, Public Works foreman, the mayor, and then other members of ER or others on the council that are interested in participating. So we typically try to make it 5 in odd number. So for those that are interested, just let me know. We won't be scheduling anything until after probably the middle of January. No interviews in person. So, but just putting that out there that we did close the applications. We did get applications. We do have a scoring rationale that we've used many times in the past. So it's just for those to sit down and work with us to go through that process and set how many we're interviewing.
Thank you.
So let me know. The only other thing I want to touch on is the skating rink. Even with the snow, rain, warming temperatures, the rink's starting to look in pretty good shape. We're hoping to get it open for regular rink hours starting on Saturday. And the rink hours will be the same as years past. Those will be posted on our website. During the week, Monday through Friday, it's 3 to 8. On Saturday, I believe it's noon to 8 or 10 to 8. And then on Sunday, it's noon to 6, I believe. So it'll be the same as years past. So for those wanting to get out and do some skating, guys they're just texting me. They're out there flooding tonight. So it looks like the next 2-3 days will be good for flooding. So I feel Friday, Saturday, we should have good, safe ice for those to go skate on. So.
Anything else? Fire chief, you're up.
All right, good evening. Since the last time we met, on December 30, fires responded to 6 medical calls, 2 fire calls. One fire call was an automatic alarm at a local apartment building. The other fire call was a snowmobile on fire. First of the season for snowmobile fires. It wasn't one of my kids, which I appreciate. So, also on the list, or also in your packet, I should say, is the quarterly summary from Q3. I will highlight that. If you have questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Suffice it to say, it was a quiet summer. You know it's a quiet summer when cat stuck on a garage roof makes one of the summer highlights. So, so it was a relatively quiet summer for fire calls this year, which is good. Also in your packet are our meeting minutes that take you through last month, November. So that's all I had. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for the fire chief? Thank you. Excuse me. Library director.
Well, we have a lot of great things coming up. Some of the program highlights we have tomorrow, December 18th at 2 p.m. We'll be having another one of our Hey It's a Holiday programs. This one is Flake Appreciation Day. And then what we all do appreciate Trisha Flake, who is one of our employees. It really is about snowflakes, so expect to do snowflake crafts, although if you want to tell Trisha you appreciate her on the way in, that's great too. We have a Kahoot on Christmas novels coming up starting Thursday, December 19th at 3 p.m. and running through Monday, December 23rd. That is one of our online trivia contests, so please let us know ahead of time if you want to get the link to play that. The library will be closed on Tuesday and Wednesday, the 24th and 25th for Christmas. On Friday, December 27th at 1 p.m., we will be doing a Get Crafty program with winter craft stations. And we will be closed again on Tuesday, Wednesday for New Year's, the 31st and the 1st. On Thursday, January 2nd, starting at 3 p.m., we will have another Kahoot based on the Babysitter Club Little Sister novels 6 through 8. So if you have someone in your house who is a Babysitter Club Little Sister person, have them sign up for that. Due to popular demand, we will be doing the first puzzle swap of the year. So jigsaw puzzle swap on Friday, January 3rd at 4 p.m. If you bring puzzles, plan to take puzzles. Don't just bring puzzles, take them with you too. And then on Tuesday, January 7th at 10:30 a.m., Dennis Warner will be coming to perform. He is a musician, and that is funded by the Legacy Amendment. Also coming up for January, take and make sort of things. We are doing a science take and make for families on snowmen science for January. And I promised you that I would be switching from spice to something new, so we are going to move into historic games for 2025, and we're going to start with Fox and Geese, which is a two-player asymmetrical game that started in the Middle Ages. So if you want to learn about that game, you can certainly come in and pick that up. And as was alluded to earlier in the meeting, this Friday, a reporter and a camera person from WDIO are coming out to film about the stained glass windows in the library, and I've got some of the artists coming in too. This is something Bailey from WDIO and I have been talking about for several months now, and it finally has worked out for a time. So I don't know if they will be airing it on Friday or saving it for a future date. I can certainly ask them both of this copy, and I'm sure the artists would love to talk about it if Todd wants to do something special just for Ely TV too. So that's what I've got for the library, and you certainly ask me any questions.
Any questions? If you have not looked at the stained glass windows, especially, well, I think they're all beautiful. I don't know if I quite do have a favorite, but I'm not going to tell you. But you should go check it out, and especially when the sun is shining. They're just gorgeous.
We did ask when we put in the set along Chapman Street if what people's favorites were, and at least one person chose each one of the windows for the favorites. But as we've added more, I kind of think we might need to do that again as another informal contest at the library. So
it's always the newest one. I love that, and then I'm like, well, no, I'm going to go back to the original one I love most. So they're beautiful. Nicely done. All right, police chief.
Yeah, not much tonight. I guess just a reminder, it looks like they're going to be doing snow removal on Chapman Street here overnight, so just be aware of that. Heavy vehicles moved off that area, and obviously it's been a year since we've actually had snow. Friendly reminder that where you put your snow, if it's not on your own property, don't put it there. Don't put it on the streets, don't put it on your neighbor's lot without their permission. You can't be moving it across the road. Don't pile it on city roads. The city has to get the roads plowed. I've been getting a few more calls recently, which, like I said, a year off, maybe people forgot. But snow still falls, and we have to put it in a certain spot. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Harold.
Just to touch on that, we do have some city snow dumps that we allow contractors and homeowners, they can haul their snow there. We just ask that they use common sense and don't go dump it at 11 o'clock at night or 3 o'clock in the morning. When people are trying to sleep, slamming tailgates and that sort of thing is not good. But to the chief's point, we did have the first larger snowfall. We did have a business that decided to push all their snow pretty much walking one lane on an avenue. They realized their error and did comply with the chief's suggestion to push back on the property, so I thank them for that. Also on sidewalks, trying not to obscure hydrants and that sort of thing. And we will be removing snow in the downtown area, so Chapman and then the avenues intersecting all the way down to Central Avenue. We'll be removing snow probably for the next 3 days or so, 3-4 days. It'll be depending on how much snow comes on Thursday, because we can't remove snow plowed at the same time. And MnDOT was planning on coming this week to remove on Sheridan with a forecasted snowfall. It'll probably be next week sometime, but they are planning to get up here before the Christmas holiday to remove on Sheridan. So, yeah, that's most of it. And if you have questions, just call. If you want to know where the snow dumps are, most know it's over in Patterson Street and 10th Avenue in that area. We also have over behind Rock Apartments in that area is where most people will haul their snow. So don't cart it down the street and dump it on the end of a boulevard or on another, somebody else's property away from yours, or, shovel it into a vacant lot next door. It's usually not very happy when they have to then shovel it or remove it. So yeah, as the chief said, I think we might get a winter like we had maybe not 2 years ago, that'd be all right, but more typical winter, so.
I think we're just gonna add blow torches to our plows, so we can just melt it as we plow.
Yeah.
That's what we're gonna do. But other than that, we are gonna be doing some interviews here on Thursday for our open position. So hopefully, after interviewing, we'll be able to make a selection with the police commission, and hoping to have a recommendation for you at the first meeting of the year. And other than that, that's all I have.
Any questions? Thank you. All right, moving on. City Attorney.
Okay, we have 3 ordinances for your approval tonight, 2 of which are second ordinance readings, one of which is the first. 381, ordinance that we've been working on for quite some time regarding cannabis business in the city of Ely. This would be in final form. Of course, we could amend this at any time moving forward. But I do think it's important that we do pass this ordinance tonight, as technically our moratorium will end at the end of the calendar year. Although the state may not be issuing licenses yet, I would suspect that they'll be issuing them in short order in the early part of 2025. So changes were made pursuant to the council's request. The formatting has been reformatted to match the code as it currently sits. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer those, but I think we should be pretty close here to a final.
I'd move the ordinance as presented.
Is there support? Support by Adam. Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion?
We'll probably discuss out because we have discussed this a lot. To be honest with you, of course, we've done quite a due diligence here, and I know we've had a number of public hearings, a number of opportunities to discuss this. So it's good that we're sitting here in final form and you don't have too many questions. I think we've done a good job. Harold said beat it to death, but I am not going to say that.
Ms. Harold? Harold already said it.
Yeah.
All right, with that, Casey, would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Al Porson, Paul Kess,
Yes.
Jerome DeBellis,
Yes.
Ryan Callen,
Yes.
Angela Campbell,
Yes.
Adam Nisky,
Yes.
and Mayor Marissa.
Yes. And it passes. The members present.
Wonderful. All right, and my second item is ordinance 383. This is more of the zoning regulations relative to the cannabis business regulation in the city of Ely. Again, this has been put in final form. I did add our list of permissible and conditional uses, updating the graph. That's probably the most substantial item that we see in terms of additions to this ordinance from the last reading to this reading. Other than that, majority has stayed relatively the same, just finalizing the code sections for the additions.
Okay. Do I have a motion? Moved by Alan, supported by Paul. Any discussion? Go ahead,
There's
Paul.
been some public discussion of some of these ideas, but we've done this long enough now. And I think it's important that the council, we limited the number to 3 and that kind of thing like that. If the state were to change, or if we were to change our ordinance, we could increase that. But I want to tell you, it would be very difficult to decrease it over time if that were the case.
Correct.
So I think we're on the right track here.
Good point. Anything else? Any other points? All right. Casey, please call the roll.
Councilmember Al Porson, Paul Kess,
Yes.
Jerome DeBellis,
Yes.
Ryan Callen,
Yes.
Angela Campbell,
Yes.
Adam Nisky,
Yes.
and Mayor Marissa.
Yes. All right. The ordinance passes. The members present.
All right, and then we have our first reading ordinance 384. This is pursuant to Councilmember Forsman's request that we do include all cannabinoid products, whether they were existing edibles or they're an expansion of which into the cannabis flower, that it would be not permissible to have public use of those products. So that is the expansion, that's the language that you see. This would be a first reading.
I need a motion. Moved by Jerome, supported by Paul. Any discussion? Go ahead.
After the first reading, it goes to public hearing.
Yes, it will go to public.
Any other discussion? Seeing none. You call the roll?
Councilmember Al Porson, Paul Kess,
Yes.
Jerome DeBellis,
Yes.
Ryan Callen,
Yes.
Angela Campbell,
Yes.
Adam Nisky,
Yes.
and Mayor Marissa.
Yes. All right, ordinance passes with the unanimously with the members present. Do we need to schedule the public hearing?
We were thinking that first meeting in January, is it the 7th?
Yes.
The 7th at 5:15. This is a fairly minor change, quite frankly.
January 7th at 5:15? All right.
If you want 5 o'clock, so be it, but I don't think, I mean, this is right in line with all the other ordinance changes.
I understand. We have motion to have our hearing at 5:15 on January 7th, 2025. Is there support? What? Megan? Good. Supported by Adam. Discussion. Are we okay with it? Or?
Yeah, we're just talking about your new council is not seated yet at that time.
That is
But
true.
I think that,
I think they can handle it.
yeah, and you're not, it's not a
We can
voting.
handle it.
It's not necessarily, they'll be present, but it's not necessarily voting. It's not a meeting, obviously, it's just a hearing of the public, so I think that's
They'll do
sufficient.
They can handle it. I decided they can handle it. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes, we have a hearing. there'll be a whole loud ruckus, so there are gonna be a lot of people here to find out all about the hearing, and then wait for the photo op at 5:30. All right, moving on to communications. We have a whole bunch. The Rams draft legislative priorities. All good, make sure you've read them. Paul, did you want to say anything?
The good topic, or, just for discussion at the annual meeting is, as many as you can go.
Most of them touch us pretty closely and are very important to us, which is, it's very good when that happens. It's always good to have a bigger voice.
We're common across the range.
Correspondence from the League of Minnesota Cities Regional Safety Group training costs. They're going up. Go ahead. Do you want to say anything?
So the trainings are held through the MMUA. The league, as it says, does participate and cover a lot of that cost for loss control, which is good. So we are the kind of the administrator of our Vermilion Range Regional Safety Group, which runs all the way from Cook, Winton, Babbitt, and all the communities in between. So just something to be aware of as we move forward.
And then the Yellow Airport Master Plan activity.
It's just a little review of what's been going on and the work that they're completing. One project that will most likely move forward next year is the weather station that's out at the airport. MnDOT will be removing that, moving it to the other side of the runway completely at their cost. So just an update.
We got a note from the hospital from Patty Banks, which was mentioned yesterday, just about the task force. So. And then something from St. Louis County Fair, and also something from Happy Days Learning Center. Just what's happening there, and all of that. And once again, as per council's, I don't know, it's standard, but just kind of in the past, if you want to give to either one of those organizations, we generally give privately. However, in lieu of services to Happy Days, they usually give scholarships, and obviously we have. Is that correct? Yeah. At least last year. Okay. Any other comments or questions about our communications list? Anything that anybody wanted to highlight? Moving on. Claims for payment. Claims for payment.
So move A through F.
They all. Right. Is there support? Support by Angela. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, new business. Resolution 2024-46, resolution supporting grant application to the Minnesota DNR Grant in Aid Snowmobile Trail Assistance Program for maintenance and grooming. So moved by Ryan, supported by Adam. Any discussion? Any discussion? Seeing none, Casey, can you please call the roll?
Councilmember Alcorn, Paul Kess,
Yes.
Harold Langowski,
Yes.
Ryan Callen,
Yes.
Angela Campbell,
Yes.
Adam Nisbet,
Yes.
and Mayor Marissa.
Yes, resolution passes with members present. And we have resolution 2024-47, resolution approving the city of Ely budget for the fiscal year 2025. Need a motion. Moved by Paul,
I'll move it.
supported by Ryan. Any discussion? Any discussion? Seeing none. Casey, can you please call the roll?
Councilmember Alcorn, Paul Kess,
Yes.
Harold Langowski,
Yes.
Ryan Callen,
Yes.
Angela Campbell,
Yes.
Adam Nisbet,
Yes.
and Mayor Marissa.
Yes, resolution passes unanimously with the members present. And this is the hardest time. Resolution 2024-40, resolution approving the adopting final tax levy collectible in 2025. Moved by Paul, supported by Ryan. Any discussion? Anything you want to say, Paul?
Well, these things are become increasingly difficult, I believe, so good luck with that.
All right. Casey, please call her up. Figure out where we're at.
Councilmember Alfredson, Paul Kess,
Yes.
Jordan Bell,
Yes.
Ryan Callen,
Yes.
Angela Campbell,
Yes.
Adam Dissy,
Yes.
and Mayor Marissa.
Yes. Resolution passes with the members present. And we need to advertise for open committee seats that the term limits will be expiring or coming due in January 31st, 2025. Moved by Jerome, supported by Ryan. Any discussion? For all you out there in TV land or here, we always need people. We always need good residents of Ely to help us out and help us make good decisions. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Accept the resignation of Morgan Sauls from the Park and Recreation Board. Moved by Adam, supported by Jerome. Any discussion?
Just say, seconded it, and I send a letter, thank you for her serving on the board.
Nice. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. All right, approve Walker, Giroux, and Hani understanding of services that they will provide to the city of Ely for the year ending December 31st, 2024. Moved by Angela, supported by Ryan. Any discussion? Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
If I may, I forgot to add that at the last Park and Rec meeting, we did nominate and appoint Abby Dare as the new chair for Parks and Rec, and I thought that she deserved the recognition.
Yeah, it was in the minutes already. All right, letter of support for the Rams Board resolution. Resolution 24-01.
I move the resolution.
Move the resolution, is there support? Support by Ryan, any discussion?
Well, this is a proposal to build an medical school, and Duluth is in the running, there's competition. And so the more support that we can generate across northern Minnesota, northeastern Minnesota, the Duluth area, the better our chances to actually secure a medical school.
Great idea, and something that will definitely help the Duluth area and all of northeastern Minnesota. All right, please call the roll, Casey.
This is just the letter.
It's letter of support, it says resolution.
It's
For the
their
resolution.
resolution.
Oh, for the resolution, got it, never mind, all right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, then addition 811, resolution 2024-49, resolution authorizing application for the Ely Arts and Heritage Center to apply for the raffle permit. Moved by Ryan, supported by Jerome. Any discussion? Any discussion? They asked, was it on Saturday, Sunday, they asked us how to get the permit, and then they have it to Casey by today, this morning. Amazing. All right, call the roll.
Councilmember Alfredson, Paul Kess,
Yes.
Jordan Bell,
Yes.
Ryan Callen,
Yes.
Angela Campbell,
Yes.
Adam Dissy,
Yes.
and Mayor Marissa.
Yes, resolution passes unanimously with the members present. We do have one person for open forum, Richard Stuart. You have 3 minutes.
Good evening, Richard Stewart, 1460 Darby Road. I just rise today, I want to thank all of my fellow Elyites for voicing their concerns and sharing their thoughts as we've gone through the cannabis ordinance. I've really taken a lot of that to heart, so much so that we are actively working on educational materials that will be provided to every patron that goes through a point of sale. They will be presented with those materials. We are already actively planning listening sessions later this spring so that we can hear from our constituents in the community and my fellow Elyites, along with some educational workshops. And so we will be at a future date inviting the City Council once we go through all of our planning with architects and security with the police and the fire chief and everything that we need to check the boxes on. And then I just wanted to mention too, yesterday I did a recon trip and I went over to Ironwood, Michigan. And we went over there and in a 1 mile stretch of road, they have 5 dispensaries. It was not a pretty sight. It was not something to be enjoyed. And there was cars from every state in the union that were in all of these parking lots. So it was really interesting to see that. And one of the things that really caught my attention, and this is something that I'm hyper aware of when it comes to our Ely youth being exposed to adult use products. In Michigan, you can literally buy a product and walk out the door. They just put it in a little simple bag and you're out the door. We will not be doing that. I brought just an example here of an opaque packaging system that is child resistant. So anyone who comes through the dispensary, when they purchase their product, not only do they get their educational materials, it will be placed in an opaque, transparent bag that's clearly labeled. So I just wanted to rise and thank everyone for their hard work and for my fellow Elyites for sharing their concerns and voicing their thoughts. And with that, I wish everyone happy holidays.
All right, thank you, Richard. All right, with that, I wish everybody a happy holidays and happy New Year, and be safe. And give everyone love and a hug. Have a happy New Year. With that, we're adjourned.
Sure. Yeah, sure. Here, you got time?
Oh, yeah.